Hey there, good morning. We are so glad that you are joining us here on GMSA Plus. We want to get you started on your Monday. It is a holiday, so a lot of you guys are watching us from the comfort of your home, maybe in your blanket still. But this is a big day. We have Inauguration Day happening today, and we also have the local Martin Luther King Jr. March that is happening in just a few hours. I know Devin Karp has been out there all morning long, freezing with this cold weather. How are you keeping warm out there?
Hey, Patty. Good morning. All right, we are hopping into the live truck every time we're not done with some of these hits. So that way, that's how we're staying warm. I've got about probably 3 or 4 layers on right now, but hey, we're still out here for what's going to be one of the biggest marches in the country. Just take a look at this right over here. Organizers have been setting up since just about 6 in the morning, making sure everything's been getting ready. We've been out here since about 4:45, and heck, it has been a cold morning. Let me tell you guys, kind of hard to feel your fingers out here. Earlier in some of our newscasts, Justin said with the wind chill, it feels like is sitting in the teens for as far as some of that cold weather goes. But that's not stopping all these people from getting out here and getting everything ready. This year's march is going to kick off right over here at the Martin Luther King Academy. It's then going to be marched over about 2.5 miles, and then people are going to go over and end over there at Pittman Sullivan Park. Now, this year's keynote speaker is going to be Andrea Waters King. She is the daughter-in-law of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., an author and an activist. She flew into San Antonio this weekend and says she's going to be ready for the cold and is excited to see the tens of thousands of people who are going to show up. So everything for the march is going to kick off at about 10 a.m. But in the meantime, there's going to be some worship services ahead of time. People are going to start pouring into the area before the big march. So hey, like you know, thanks for joining us over here on GMSA and KSAT Plus. We're going to have all the coverage that you guys need and are looking for the rest of the day, whether that means you're coming out here looking for something fun to do with the family, or whether you're staying bundled up at home and trying to keep as warm as you can. It's going to be a cold one, but that's still not going to stop everyone out here from marching for a cause. I'll go ahead and I'll send it back to you, Patty. Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
All right, well, first of all, I'm glad to see that you finally got gloves on, Devin, because I was watching you earlier. You didn't even have that. And second of all, I mean, this is what a motivation to get walking that 2.5 miles when it is so cold that you just want to move or do something, right, Justin, as we come in. I know that some of our crews are going out there. Hopefully you gave them some good tips on how to stay warm out there.
I tried. I don't know if they listened to me, but I tried. It is going to be so very cold there for the march. But you know what? San Antonio shows up for these things, and I love that. We're not afraid of a little bit of cold. So there will be a lot of people out there, I'm sure, dressed in their winter warmth, layers and gloves and all sorts of fun things. All right, weather where you live. Let's go outside as we look over our beautiful city. We've got some clouds trying to roll in, okay? So this is kind of a sign of things to come because we're going to get more clouds as the day wears on. 26 degrees right now. That's rough. East-northeasterly winds at 11. That's the wind chill, so that's what it feels like. 16 here in town, 13 in New Braunfels, 15 in Converse. That is brutal because we have these northeasterly winds. It's going to make it feel that much colder, but that does constitute a hard freeze. We've been below freezing for many hours now, so hopefully you still have everything wrapped. And keep it wrapped, by the way, because as we get into Wednesday morning, we're going to see another hard freeze. If you're heading out to the march this morning, temperatures in the 20s and 30s, but wind chills will stay in the teens and 20s, and we'll see partly cloudy to mostly clear skies. But as the morning wears on, and certainly by the time we get into the afternoon, clouds will start to thicken up. It'll become overcast, and that'll kind of lock in the cold. I think we're only going to get up into the mid to upper 30s for highs. Then as we get into the afternoon or evening hours, we start to bring in some rain chances, or precipitation chances maybe would be the better term here, because by 6, 7 o'clock, probably just some light sprinkles, but this will transition over to some light freezing rain, maybe some light sleet. And then by the overnight hours, we're looking at perhaps a 70% chance of light precipitation here. It's going to be light, so don't get fooled by these high chances of precipitation. The likelihood is high. It's just that everything we're going to see is really going to be on the light side. 31 degrees at midnight, 30 at 1 a.m. So yes, below freezing. Let me show you the futurecast here. We're going to see those clouds rolling in around midday, as I said. And then by the time we get into tonight, 7 o'clock, you start to see some of that pink color. That's that light freezing rain, light sleet starting to take shape. 10 p.m., same story. We'll kind of be right on the line here. But as we get into, say, after midnight and very early tomorrow, that's when we're basically looking at all light freezing rain, light sleet, or maybe a few snowflakes at this point. And yes, I do think we'll see a few snowflakes mixing in by early tomorrow morning. Will it be a lot? Again, no. Maybe a dusting, but this sticks around to about sunrise, and then it should start to quickly move south and east. And then we actually do get some clearing tomorrow afternoon, which will be important, by the way, because we need to get rid of all that moisture, whatever's out there, melt it and then evaporate it, because we don't want any left over by Wednesday morning as temperatures plummet again down into the low 20s. So here's what we're thinking as far as snowfall, and it's going backwards here, but we are expecting snow to be less than an inch here in San Antonio, so not much. As far as freezing rain goes, again, light numbers here. We're talking less than a tenth of an inch for freezing rain and sleet. So it's just not going to be much, okay? But even a little bit can cause some of those bridges and overpasses to get kind of slick. This is showing about 3/100 of an inch of sleet or ice accumulating there. So it's going to be kind of the bridges, overpasses, a light glaze and some elevated surfaces, minor impacts for the most part. You get out towards Houston, though, and they're talking about major to moderate impacts because they are expecting quite a bit more precip than we are. If you're headed east to Houston, know that. It's going to be a problem there. Winter storm warnings are posted from Corpus Christi to Houston to New Orleans to even the panhandle of Florida. So a lot of places impacted by this winter storm. You're talking about snow totals in Houston, 2 to 4 inches there. New Orleans, 2 to 4 inches. Mobile, 1 to 2. Even the panhandle of Florida, Panama City could see some snow on the beaches there, all the way up through Georgia. So this is a wide-ranging storm that starts here in San Antonio and makes it all the way to the East Coast. So 28 tomorrow morning, 38 Tuesday. There's that 70% chance of a wintry mix tonight. We're down to 22 Wednesday morning, 48 Wednesday, 55 Thursday. Another light freeze Friday morning, and then we work into more warmer numbers with a 20% chance of just some rain Saturday, Sunday, with temperatures in the 60s. But we'll be somewhat busy tonight. We'll be keeping an eye on it. It's just one of those situations where it's going to be light. The numbers won't be huge, but we also don't want people to get caught off guard because you run into a slick spot on the road, we know what can happen.
I know myself. I'm asking you like hour by hour. It's so important. If you have errands to run, you want to know, am I safe to go out there at that time?
And so I'd say between now and 6 p.m. you're fine.
Yeah.
It's going to be after that.
So the other thing I want to mention is if people take pictures of any type of fun, if they do it safely, please send them to us, right? We want to see some of that. It's not every day we get this. I'm
glad you mentioned that. Yes. KSAT Connect, send them in and share your situation with us. And by the way, I don't know that we'll have enough snow to build a snowman. I mean, it's going to be a dusting. But if you want to try, by all means. And if you do, send in a picture. Maybe it's a little mini one.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see what we get tomorrow.
We'll see.
We'll see all those pictures.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks, Patty.
All right, we will take a short break. When we come back, we are going to talk about some of the possible school closures that we're watching and also some of the warming centers that if you don't have a place to stay warm right now, that you can go. We'll be right back. Hey there, welcome back to GMSA Plus. We are so glad that you are joining us. It is such an important day today. We got the MLK March that is happening. We also got inauguration. So a lot of things that are happening, plus this cold weather. A lot of people right now are off of school, they're off of work, but they want to know what's going to happen tomorrow. Is school open? Some local school districts and universities are already taking precautions by canceling class for tomorrow. That includes Cotulla, Goliad, Poth, ISDs, along with Texas State University and UTSA. Local districts are keeping an eye out on the weather and will probably be making some decisions very soon. And we're going to be updating you, of course, here on the air and, of course, on KSAT.com whenever those decisions do come in. We asked some local school districts yesterday how they make the decision to stay on schedule or to cancel classes. This is a decision they say they take very seriously. They have a lot of meetings before it, and they actually meet with a lot of other local ISDs. So the superintendents kind of get together and decide what they're going to do together. Several logistics that are taken into account, things like buses operating safely and on time, and making sure that parents can get their kids to school on time. And the decision to cancel or stay on schedule needs to be made as quickly as possible. Again, you can stay with KSAT.com to find out if your school district will be canceling classes for tomorrow. It's important for people to prepare for the cold and to find a place to keep warm if you need to. Bexar County officials are opening 5 warming centers in preparation for the next few days. This is a list of the centers: the Lighthouse Christian Temple, the VFW Post at 7108, St. Padre Pio Catholic Church, and Christ the King Lutheran Church. Elmendorf Community Library, they're going to be open from 7 p.m. tonight to 10 a.m. on Wednesday. And that is all some good information. And if you can get to KSAT.com, we have that list available, of course. And still to come, we have some helpful tips on how to keep your plant safe during the freezing weather. Stay with us. You're watching GMSA Plus. Hey there, good morning. Welcome back to GMSA Plus on the KSAT Plus app. And we are expecting some freezing temperatures throughout several days this week. And of course, we want to remind you about the 4 very important P's: people, pipes, pets, and your plants. So what are the best ways to protect those plants? Sarah Costa is digging in to see what are some of the ways to do it.
We're getting a hard freeze in San Antonio, so what plants do we really need to worry about?
Anything potted, just bring them inside or into your garage. Anything tropical in the ground, like bougainvillea, these will die and come back from a light freeze, but not a hard one, so cover them up. Tropical trees, your other trees you don't have to worry about, but citrus trees are very sensitive. In-ground succulents, these can be a gamble if they are super established cacti, but I would still give them some protection.
What can we leave uncovered?
Natives that are established, like my lantana, Greg's mistflower, sages, these will die back, meaning they will turn dark or lose leaves, but come spring, they will come back. Sago palms, unless you planted it like this year, no need to cover. These will brown, but will come back. Large established shrubs, your shrubs, especially if they are native, will be fine. Even these non-native established rose bushes will be completely fine.
Questionable, cover anything that's not established. For example, if you planted them this fall or even spring, we had a really hot summer and we're in drought, those roots are stressed, even if they're native.
Your vegetables are annuals. Unless they are winter veggies like greens, I would harvest them, like pick those tomatoes or cut those zinnias.
Here's how you're gonna cover.
Cover with cardboard, freeze cloth, or old blankets. Try to stay away from plastic, it can burn your plants, and make sure to cover the roots.
Most importantly, water, water, water. Giving your roots a deep watering is the best way you can protect them. Happy gardening!
Hopefully you did all of that already because it's so cold. I don't think you want to step outside anymore. And Texas trucks are getting ready for potential ice. There are more than 400 crew members covering the main roads in 12 counties, including right here in Bexar County. They're driving across highways and interstates thousands of gallons of saltwater brine. They say that this kind of treatment is effective 48 to 24 hours before a freeze. But they still want people to be very careful when they're out on the roads. TxDOT is reminding people to give plenty of space to the trucks that are They're going to be working around the clock throughout Wednesday. And also something that we want to put on everyone's radar this morning for later today, the KSAT Weather Authority will be live streaming a weathercast at 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. in preparation for this winter weather. It's going to be live on the KSAT Weather app, KSAT Plus, and of course on our website, KSAT.com. And here is our streaming and broadcast schedule for today's inauguration events. On KSAT Plus and KSAT.com, you can watch GMSA and GMSA Plus all the way to the start of inauguration. On air, Good Morning America takes over GMSA, leading up to the ABC coverage starting at 9:30. It is a very busy morning again. We got inauguration, the MLK March, which we have RJ and Jaffney that are heading out there. We hope to check in with them shortly as they get ready for the march to start at 10 a.m. We'll be right back. Welcome back to GMSA Plus on the KSAT Plus streaming app and on KSAT.com. For the nonprofit Soldiers Angels, giving back to those who've served extends beyond Military City, USA. This includes veterans who have been affected by the fires in California. Soldiers Angels is working with the Los Angeles VA to identify and meet specific need for veterans and their families who were displaced or who lost everything and need support.
We are actively providing support through all sorts of means, and so it's easy for people to get involved. So they can donate cash, which of course we can send gift cards and other things directly to them, which they have a great need for right now, gift cards. But we also have an Amazon registry, so they can go to that and provide support.
All right, for the complete list of items and other ways to help, you can visit ksatcommunity.com. And this Saturday, KSAT Community is partnering with the Red Cross to raise funds and help those who have been impacted by those California wildfires and by fires right here at home as well. Starting at noon Thursday, we're going to be having a phone bank. You can call to donate and lend your support. We're going to be answering phones until 7 p.m. All right, and we will be right back. We are waiting for RJ and Japhanie to get to the MLK March where they're going to be live streaming. We're going to see them out there. They're going to be cold, but they're going to be very happy to see what this community event is all about. We'll be right back.
Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Justin Horn. Let's take a look at your traffic. By the way, if you're joining us on the stream, GMSA Plus, we're here with you. We're also live on KSAT 12. And as we look out over the roads this morning, I-37 and South Cross looking good. We don't have a lot of traffic, obviously, because it's a holiday. And yes, it's cold, but we don't have any travel issues weather-wise right now. 1604 at Hardy Oak looks good there, too. Not a lot of volume of traffic. Obviously, our camera is down on that one. We'll keep you posted if anything goes on, but so far so good. There are some of those de-icing trucks, though, out and about, so you may get slowed down by those if you're going to be traveling on some of the major freeways. All right, let's go outside with live cam. There's the scene. A few high clouds and clouds in general trying to funnel into the area, but we still have partly cloudy conditions and temperatures so very cold. 26 degrees at the airport. East northeasterly winds at 11. The wind chill right now is 16. 23 in the Braunfels. Wind chill 13. Feels like 15 in Converse. You get the idea. It is very, very chilly out there. There's a look at some of the wind chills. Teens for the most part. Forecast for today. We'll keep it cloudy till we get into the evening hours. Dinner time, 20% chance of rain around 6 o'clock, and we start to bring those precipitation chances up. Now, it'll be very light. Initially starting off as a few raindrops and then maybe transitioning over to some light freezing drizzle, maybe a little bit of sleet. And then eventually we could get a few snowflakes by early tomorrow morning. In general, accumulation is going to be very light, less than an inch of snow, less than a tenth of an inch of ice. But that could cause some issues on the roadways, so we want to make sure you're aware of that. This is the Futurecast, shows the clouds rolling in, and there you see some of that pink stuff starting to show up as early as 7 o'clock. So we're going to be keeping an eye on all of that for you. 70% chance overnight, 38 tomorrow, 48 Wednesday. Another hard freeze, by the way, Wednesday morning down to 22. Here if you missed them. Welcome back, by the way. We're back on the stream. We just did a live cut in there on KSAT. And I'm going to walk you through the forecast one more time if you missed it. Again, we've got some clouds rolling in. Temperatures are cold this morning. We've got 20s and teens for wind chill values. We showed you that. But what I really want to focus in on here is this hour-by-hour forecast. So we got clouds rolling in. It's going to get cloudy 3, 4 o'clock. Overcast skies, that locks in the cold. So we're in the mid-30s. That's it. Still a wind chill at that point, probably too. We start to add in the rain chances right around dinner time. So 20% chance at 6 o'clock, 30% chance at 7 p.m. At that point, probably just some light sprinkles, maybe some light rain. But this is going to transition to some frozen stuff, I fear, once we get to 8, 9, 10 o'clock. Now, the odds of seeing light precipitation are good, 70%. That doesn't mean it's going to be terribly heavy. All of what we're going to see is going to be on the light side. But we know that even a little bit of ice can cause issues on the roadways, especially those less traveled roadways and some of the bridges and overpasses. So let's get through the Futurecast here. I didn't get through all of it there on that cut-in, but by 7 p.m., that's where we start to see a little bit of that pink color. That is that light freezing drizzle, light sleet, and it's going to be right over San Antonio, that dividing line, I think, kind of right on the escarpment, right? But as we get into, say, 10, 11 o'clock, then I think this kind of pushes a little bit further south into the city where we could see some of this light mix. And then by 2 a.m. for sure, I think San Antonio is within that light freezing rain, light sleet situation. And we may start to see a few snowflakes flying. I don't think we're going to see a lot of snow, but by 4 a.m., you're probably going to see a few snowflakes mixing in. Again, less than an inch of snow, so this is not going to be much. It's not going to be enough really probably to build a snowman. But the problem is we'll have some ice below that too, so that's why we're a little concerned with some of those roadways. By 7 o'clock, this is starting to push south and east, and I do think we'll get some clearing tomorrow by midday, which will help. We want to evaporate any moisture on the ground and get the sun out and melt everything so the roads aren't really a problem. So the sun will be out by tomorrow afternoon. Here's the extended forecast. 38 Tuesday, 48 Wednesday, 55 Thursday, but Wednesday morning's the big one. 22 is what we drop down to, and we'll see another hard freeze around the area. And that will also be not a hard freeze, but another freeze Thursday morning and probably again Friday morning. All right, we're going to break, correct, Landon? Okay, I can keep going. Totally up to you. We're we're just kind of shooting the breeze here live with you on GMSA Plus. That's what we do. It's very behind the scenes, very casual, but I'm going to flip through some more of my graphics here. And to show you what I want to do is look at some of the forecast snow totals and forecast sleet and freezing rain totals. So I'm going to kind of go through these rather quick because there's not a lot to it, but where you see less than an inch of snow, that's where we're not, again, that's going to be here around San Antonio. But as you go east, I do want to point out that some of our eastern counties, places like Gonzales, LaGrange, Victoria, if you're watching from Hallettsville, Lavaca County, you actually could see a little bit more snow. The higher totals are going to be off to the east, and then you got Houston looking at 2 to 4 inches of snow. So that's where a lot of the travel issues are going to be. As you head east on Interstate 10, as you go west, it actually gets better. It's kind of the opposite of what you would think, right? But even here in San Antonio, a dusting of snow. Now, what about the ice? Well, I think this is going to be low end. We're talking less than 1/10 of an inch when it comes to freezing rain or sleet. This is just not going to add up to very much. So that's not a big issue, but I still think some of the bridges and overpasses will take on some of this light icing. And so that's why we have to be so very careful tomorrow morning. And of course, the big question is, are we going to see school closures? That's not up to us, but the schools will be watching this closely and kind of seeing where those slick spots are and if it makes sense to call off school or have it or whatever. But that's, again, that will not be up to us. I want to show you some of the winter storm impacts here. Where you see the yellow color, that is minor impacts. So that's what I think we're going to see mostly here around San Antonio in our viewing area. But you get out towards Houston, you're looking at moderate to even major impacts. City of Houston, if they get a little bit of ice and then get 4 inches of snow, you can only imagine there, a major metropolitan area, that's going to basically shut things down there. A place that's even less used to getting snow than we are. Also, winter storm warning stretch from Corpus Christi to Houston to San Antonio, Austin, New Orleans, up to parts of Mississippi, Alabama, even the Panhandle of Florida, which is pretty impressive. So this is going to be a wide-ranging storm. And snow totals in these areas, places like New Orleans can pick up 2 to 4 inches of snow. When's the last time we talked about that? This could be a record snowstorm for parts of the Gulf Coast. So pretty impressive there too. A wide ranging, as I said, this will be over the next couple of days. But to kind of recap and go back to what we were talking about for the timeline and for us here in San Antonio, we've already got a few clouds moving in, but know that by lunchtime clouds start to thicken up, clouds move in, and it basically goes overcast. And then by dinner time, we're going to see a few light sprinkles. That may transition over to a light mix. And then by overnight, light freezing rain, sleet, and snow. By the way, we've gotten a lot of questions about what does it mean when you say mix, wintry mix? What is that? Well, that is a mixture of light freezing rain, light sleet, and occasionally some snowflakes. And the reason we call it a light mix is because we can't define it as one of those three. They could all three be happening at the same time sometime. They can all be mixing in. But that's the idea. And then overnight, that's when we have our best shot of seeing light freezing rain and sleet, and then maybe a few snowflakes. And then by sunrise tomorrow, light sleet and snow will be coming to an end. So really our window here is 6 p.m. tonight, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's when we think we'll have the best opportunity to get some of this weather. And that may be when we get some slick spots on the road, especially the less traveled roads, the ones that aren't being treated. TxDOT is doing a really good job here of treating a lot of the roads. So that is helpful. And don't forget to send in your KSAT Connect pictures if you get some snow or whatever. We'd love to see it. Even if you built like the world's smallest snowman, we'd love to see it and share it with everyone. We do know that temperatures, as I said, are very, very cold, but not just here, across the country. -13 right now in Minneapolis, -8 in Pierre, 28 in Houston. It is 46 even down in Brownsville. And by the way, guys, if you need to go to break or you need Patty wants to take back over, you guys just let me know. Toss to break. All right, so we're going to toss to break real quick. We'll be talking more and more about this wintry weather coming up all throughout the morning. We'll be right back.
I know Elmendorf Library is open, but it's a holiday, so they're usually open, but they're closed today for that. But
True.
so maybe some adjustments are going to have to be made in some communities as this cold front comes in.
Yeah, and it's going to be cold all day today. I mean, we're probably only going to get up to about 36 or so. That's it. So it's cold, and Wednesday morning has potential to be the coldest of all, down to 22.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
pretty impressive. So another hard freeze. So if you got your plants and pipes and all that stuff wrapped, keep it that way because you don't really want to take it off until probably midday Wednesday.
And hopefully we're not going to be seeing a lot of people out tomorrow morning, but if you are, just be careful. These are some of the school districts that have already canceled classes for Tuesday. Cotulla, Goliad, Poth, and Texas State, ETSA. There are other school districts that are making decisions as we speak,
I saw you go past also. On social media, they also canceled their classes. So it's going to be sporadic, but usually the way it works here in San Antonio, and again, I don't want to step on a line here, but usually the districts, I don't want to say they work in tandem, but usually once one district calls it, they kind of all fall in line.
And the reason being is because a lot of those school districts, they know that they have people that work in other school districts.
Correct.
And so, how is that going to affect the overall, the students and those who work?
And let me reiterate that San Antonio schools have not made that call yet. And they're going to be looking at the forecast very closely, just as we are. And it's a tough call because even though everything's going to be light, as I said, if there's a slick spot, you don't want to take any chances. So they've got a tough job there because, either way, they're probably not going to, there's going to be some people that aren't happy either way. I know the kids
will not be happy, but they're excited also for the possibility of seeing maybe a snowflake.
Yeah, that would be great.
I would be excited too. We have to work, so we're going to see
I'll
this.
be here regardless. Snowflakes are possible. It's just, they maybe look a little, it's not going to be the big puffy snowflakes and everything, just looking at the profile of the atmosphere.
And yeah, that's what I was going to ask. When is the ground cold enough so that they will stick, or will they melt?
Yeah, they'll stick for at least a little bit. If we get some ice to kind of coat the grass and stuff,
The
and then
ice is the bad stuff. We don't want the
Well,
ice,
you're right. If it was just a snow event, it would
it'd be
actually
great.
be easier to drive in.
Yeah.
The fact that we're getting just a little bit of ice below what maybe some snow, that's where, it makes it a little bit tougher to drive. But I think some of the grassy areas, certainly you'll see them kind of turn white, perhaps. Yeah, Houston, I was impressed by the amount of snow they may see there, 2 to 4 inches, in some cases even more than that. And sometimes when we get these snow events, you get what's called banding. So south and east of San Antonio, if a band sets up, it's conceivable there could be more there. I just don't think that's going to happen here in San Antonio.
Yeah. And some of the things to keep in mind when you're driving out there, drive slow. If you don't have to go out, don't go out. Or maybe you can delay that appointment for tomorrow. And of course, you guys are going to have a stream that's weather stream that's going to be happening as this weather event moves in, really.
So my good buddies, Adam Caskey and Mia Montgomery, are going to be doing some live streams later today, 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. And, Adam is, he's kind of a savant when it comes to cold weather and winter weather because, he grew up in Minnesota. It stands to reason. He loves going through all the
cold weather.
He digs into all the profiles of the atmosphere, and he definitely gets into it. And he's a great resource. So check it out. Later today, Mia too, because they'll be giving you the latest updates, 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. And I'm sure there's some people out there that are kind of scoffing and saying, oh, this is not a big event. Why are you guys putting so much? Listen, people are interested. People want to know, and that's what we're here for.
You know what's important to remember is that not everyone has a comfort of having the heat. It
Right.
is a big event for people that maybe they don't have a warm home or they don't have, their heating system is not as good. So
check on your neighbors.
yes, exactly. All right, we will be right back.
All right, guys, we have made our way out here to the MLK Academy.
Yep.
We jumped off the desk. Our very own Patty Santos held it down for us there in the warm studio. I will say that if you are planning on coming out to this event, you do have to layer up. That is a big deal.
Yes. Yeah.
I want you guys to stay calm, like warm and comfortable as they're getting set up out here still. They've been testing with the sound systems. The music is going, so it's going to be a very special day. But the question is, again, how did the city of San Antonio end up being home to one of the largest MLK marches in the country?
Yeah, and exactly. As you mentioned, Jeff, we're expecting thousands of people to come out today. So we want to do a little KSAT explaining on this topic. Myra Arthur tells a story of how one man in San Antonio actually started this march. I've actually met his son. So this is a really interesting background here. While another man who later joined in helped force the state to recognize Martin Luther King Day as a holiday by using the threat of football. Check out this KSAT Explains with Myra Arthur.
The march actually started in 1968. There were a handful of us. I was only 9 years old at the time.
Arlington Callis's father is credited with starting the march. 2 days after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King in April of 1968, Reverend Raymond A. Callis marched in San Antonio.
Why was he moved to march?
He was moved to march, Myra, because of a lot of the deficiencies that we didn't have on the east side. I mean, things that a lot of people will probably think, oh, that's nothing, but it was a lot back then, such as poor drainage, no sidewalks, no city parks for our youth.
Basic things.
Yes, yes.
That the east side did not have.
That we did not have.
Reverend Callis worked at Martin Luther King Middle School for more than 30 years as a woodshop teacher. He was an East Side activist and a pastor of 2 churches he built himself.
And it's something he loved to do.
Arlington Callis estimates there were 9 people walking in that first march back in '68. By the mid-'70s, it had grown to a few dozen.
We had the police officer on a motorcycle in the front and a police officer on a motorcycle in the back. They gave us just the right lane only, okay, and cars continued to pass in opposite direction. And we marched on Martin Luther King Drive, but it wasn't Martin Luther King at the time.
A street name that Reverend Callis pushed the city to change, and they did. It was 1986 when the city did something else that would change the San Antonio MLK March forever, under then-Mayor Henry Cisneros.
He had been to Atlanta for the very first official Martin Luther King celebration. He said he sat there and he thought, I want this for my city.
Mayor Cisneros tapped Aranetta Pierce to chair the city's first ever MLK Commission.
He really understood that I would give it the work. I would do the work. And it was a lot of work. That's me at the march. And also, it was a time when people were looking, I think, for more African Americans to be involved. And that was me.
Pierce and Reverend Callis once taught at the same school.
I call him probably the greatest cheerleader that Martin Luther King has ever had in San Antonio.
In 1987, the first MLK March backed by the city took place.
What do you think that did for this march?
I think that what the commission did, we gave it structure, we gave it visibility.
So much so that civil rights icon Rosa Parks attended that march in '87.
Here's Rosa Parks, and the Black Policemen Union volunteered to escort and be protectors of Rosa Parks.
An estimated 30,000 people were there for the march, which happened 5 years before Texas recognized Martin Luther King Day as a state holiday. Pushing lawmakers to act,
I didn't do it by myself,
was Mario Salas, a longtime San Antonio civil rights leader and East Side native. A fellow activist Salas knew came up with an idea.
and his simple answer was, well, we're going to take away their football.
In 1990, the NFL moved the Super Bowl out of Tempe, Arizona, where it was scheduled to be played in '93. That's because Arizona state lawmakers in '90 voted against making Martin Luther King Day a state holiday.
So we decided to call the NFL commissioner, got him on the phone. We also called the Players Association. So he just flat out told us, well, we won't play in Texas either. I guarantee you we won't. I said, oh, now it's time to go to the state in Austin.
Salas and fellow activists met with the Speaker of the Texas House.
So he just said, well, what do y'all want? I said, well, it's what you want, Mr. Speaker. You want a Super Bowl in Texas. Well, there won't be one here unless we get a Martin Luther King state holiday. It's that simple.
The next morning, Salas said that legislation was on the congressional calendar. Martin Luther King Day became a Texas state holiday in 1991. Today, there is no official record keeping on which march is the nation's largest. But somewhere along the way, San Antonio took that title.
It's amazing how San Antonio was just known for it. We had a March Marshal one year clearly said that we had over 300,000 marchers.
I think a lot of people would think, well, why isn't it in Alabama, Mississippi, a place that was sort of at the heart of so much of the fight for civil rights? How did it end up in San Antonio?
Well, I think it speaks about the city and its uniqueness, its diversity of cultures, and we all have a tendency to get along. I mean, it's not a perfect city. No place is perfect, I get that. But San Antonio has created an environment, if I may, where people feel welcome here.
You would think that out of 300,000 people, 200,000 of them are African Americans, and that's just not the case. The diversity is something that you can only be here to experience.
The San Antonio Police Department gives the MLK Commission a crowd size estimate every year. No matter what's changed in size or planning over the years, organizers never wanted this to be a parade.
So we always like to respectfully draw a distinction between us and Atlanta, the man's hometown. Atlanta has a parade and we have a march.
Well, Martin Luther King didn't parade. He was a marcher. And he once said, there's nothing stronger than the sound of marching feet of a people determined to change things.
We march for a cause. My reason would be to not forget where we came from, not forget whose shoulders we stand upon, not to get complacent.
What does Martin Luther King Day mean to you?
It means that a man lived who believed that we could all live together in harmony. And that's worth celebrating.
So this was definitely a lot of interesting facts in that story.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be known that this is a special day for a reason.
Absolutely. So I think what always kind of interests me about that is that we talk about the history, about the East Side in general, and you know, just driving through here, we passed by Mount Zion Baptist Church. Obviously, that's an iconic spot here on the east side of town. So again, coming to you from the MLK Academy, a lot of history here. We're going to get a lot of folks, but it is cold out here, Jack.
It's very cold out here, so we're going to stay out here for a little bit longer because you already know we're here with you guys throughout this entire morning. We're going to send it to break, but after we come back, we got more MLK coverage coming your way. Stay with us.
Plus on the KSAT Plus streaming app and on KSAT.com. We want to say thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is 8 a.m. and we have a lot of stuff going on today. First off, it is the MLK March that is happening right now, and our Japhanie Gray and RJ Martins are out there right now. You guys are looking really cold. I know, Japhanie, I've seen you dancing. Is that your method to stay warm?
Yeah. Yeah, so it is a little bit loud out here, Patty. We got some of the sound. They're getting that set up. But Patty asked, is you moving? You kind of dancing? We've seen you dance in the studio, but this is a way for you to keep warm.
I mean, it's definitely working today. I just love music in general, especially when I hear they got the old tunes going on here. They got the testing of the drums. Something about a drum beat that'll get me jiggling. And sometimes it works because, yes, it is keeping me a lot warmer. You got to layer up. If you guys are coming out here, do not let the cold weather stop you from coming out to a very special day. A lot of people are out here on the same page. And again, it's just to honor what MLK Jr. did all those years ago, the way he marched, so that we don't have to march today. I think that's the biggest takeaway from celebrating today.
And for me, one of the other big things is that obviously last year we had to cancel the march.
Yes.
So I know a lot of organizations, nonprofits look forward to this. A lot of students are going to be out here, despite the fact that there is no school, despite the cold. They still are anticipating a lot of people out here. I know you recently did a story with a local vendor who's happy to be back.
No, I'm super excited to bring you guys that interview. She was an awesome woman. She said that she was participating in this event for several years, and then when it canceled last year, very disappointed, but we're going to get into the details of that. You're going to see exactly how they're preparing for this year. Hopefully that it's going to be bigger and better.
That's right. So you know what? We're going to go back to Patty Santos because obviously we do want a check of the weather. My man Justin Horn staying busy but staying warm out there inside the studio as well. So Patty from the MLK Academy, back to you at the KSAT studio.
All right, thank you guys. And you guys look to be having a lot of fun. I know it's going to get even better as the people start arriving and the march really starts going. But we do want to check in with our weatherman right now, Justin Horn. You are the man of the day because it is cold out there and people want to know what's happening today.
The kids are watching real close. They want to know what's going to happen tomorrow morning. Can't make any promises, kids, but I will tell you there are going to be some slick spots in the road, so we'll see what the school districts decide to do. That is out of our control. Just know that. You just saw Jeff and RJ, they're bundled up for good reason. Look at these wind chills. So these are the feels like numbers. This is what it feels like outside when you factor in that breeze out of the north and east. Feels like it's in the teens, 16 degrees. The current wind chill at the airport, 21 in Boerne, 16 Comfort, 13 Kerrville. Oof, it does not feel great outside. Unless you're a fan of cold weather, then in that case, enjoy it. But the winter weather timeline for today, we're going to see the chilly numbers this morning. Lunchtime, that's when the clouds start to roll in. It's around dinner time, say 6, 7 o'clock, where we start to see a few light showers developing. Probably liquid to start, but then we might see a light mix thereafter as temperatures get pulled down by the evaporation. So, short story here, and I'll make it quick. The air is very dry at the surface. So when you have that precipitation coming down through that dry air, evaporation takes place and it actually pulls the temperature down. So we think that after we get some evaporation taking place, then you'll start to see that mix over to a light mix, so light freezing rain and light sleet. And then overnight, that's our best chance for wintry weather. Light freezing rain, light sleet, light snowflakes possibly too, I'd say after midnight. And then a few snowflakes coming to an end tomorrow morning by sunrise. So our window here is pretty small. Everything we're going to see is pretty light, but we know that around here, even just a little bit of ice can cause some impacts. So we want to let you know about it. Here is the forecast hour by hour. So 4 o'clock, 36, that's our high temperature today. That's it. By 8 p.m., 40% chance of precip. We're at 33, so right on that dividing line. And then probably down to near freezing by midnight. 70% chance of light freezing rain, light sleet. And then I think we get a few snowflakes mixing in by 2 a.m. Are we going to see a lot of snow? No, probably less than an inch. You look at the futurecast here, it tells basically that same story. There's your pink color. That's the light freezing rain, light sleet. See that through about midnight. And then you start to see more of the blue mixing in, which represents that light snow that could start to mix in by, say, 2 a.m. and certainly by tomorrow morning before this all clears out by sunrise. And then we actually get the clouds to clear out by midday, 1, 2 o'clock. So that'll get the sun out and that'll warm us up some, not a lot. Winter storm impacts, they're going to be minor here. So we have kind of a scale. You got limited, which is out west, minor, which is low end, moderate, which is what they're going to see around Houston, to major, which is that red color. And that's where you would expect major issues on the roads, some delays. Here it's going to be more just bridges and overpasses, a few slick spots, and a light glaze on elevated surfaces, things like metal signs, maybe the grass, you'll see a little bit of that too, some of your wooden decks. We also have a handy dandy thing here on our computer system where we can look at road temperatures. And we'll be showing you this throughout the day and into tomorrow to kind of give you an idea of where the roads are at. Now, right now they're cold because it was very, very cold overnight. With the sun, you'll see them warm up pretty rapidly today. They'll get well above freezing, and then we'll see what happens tonight when some of that precip falls. This will give us a good indication of where we may see some slick spots. So 38 tomorrow after starting off at 28 with that 70% chance of wintry mix. 48 Wednesday, 22 to start, brutally cold. 55 Thursday, 58 Friday, and then some small rain chances Saturday, Sunday, 20%. It does warm up. So we go to more like spring-like weather by the weekend. Because, you know, that's how we roll here in South Texas. We like to keep you on your toes, but that's the idea right now, Patty.
Oh my goodness, what a roller coaster from like last month. Remember when we were complaining that
it was
winter
warm
had
in
not
December?
arrived?
Yes.
No.
Did you wrap your outdoor water?
I did.
Okay, good.
I did.
Keep it that way through Wednesday because Wednesday morning will be another hard freeze. Then you can unwrap the plants and stuff. I went and wrapped some of my plants. It's probably pointless.
Yeah,
I don't think I put enough around them, but we'll give it a shot.
Well, hopefully everything works out for those plants.
Yes. Thank you, Patty.
All right. Thanks so much, Justin.
Yep.
And please stay with us because we are going to head out to RJ and Jaffney at the MLK March here shortly. We'll be right back.
All right, guys, so we're coming to you. Yes.
Yeah, so
amen, amen. Coming to you from the MLK Academy. They've just done one of their prayers for as they get set for obviously the MLK Day March.
And one of the special things he mentioned in that prayer is that how special today is as far as what MLK Jr. stood for back then, how it still resonates today, and how we all just need to be together. No matter what color you are, God did not color code us. We are all brothers and sisters. So that's one thing that I think is beautiful about today, and it's something that a lot of people are excited about, coming out and participating again. Obviously last year was canceled. A bit disappointment for a lot of people, but the vendors who always have returned, they're pumped to be back here. I think they're going to end at Pittman Sullivan Park, right?
Yeah, so obviously that's where the program will be ending up there. The march is going to go from here down there to Pittman Sullivan. It's about a 2.5-mile march, so just keep that in mind. Again, you definitely want to bundle up, layer up if you're going to come out here, but they do have a really nice setup out there. I've been able to go out there in the past. They got live music. I mean, we got some music going on here as well, but yeah, the vendors are going to be out there, and it should be a little bit warmer.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, once we get out there.
Again, like you said, if you can make it through that 2.5 miles or so, get there, you got some good food on the way. And one in particular comes from a teacher who works at the Ed White Middle School, and now she teaches special education, but she's also a vendor on the weekends. Here's her story on what she thought about last year being canceled and how she's able to be prepared for this year.
We're in the conference room right now of the Ed White Middle School, and I know it doesn't look like a conference room. We got a whole New Orleans theme going on because I am here with the one and only Vita Floyd. Now, you guys, so you're a teacher here, right?
Yes,
What are some of the topics or subjects that you do teach?
I'm a special education teacher, so I work with the special education kids, and I actually work the behavior unit here on campus,
Not only do you have a passion for teaching, but you got a passion for cooking. And when I tell you, y'all, this is my first time having gumbo, and it's seafood gumbo, right?
It's seafood gumbo.
It was spot on.
I've been cooking since I was 10 years old. And my food trailer is Jules Cajun and Southern Cuisine. In memory of my mom, she passed away about 25 years ago. And so when I opened up my small business, I automatically knew I was going to name it after my mom in her memory.
5 years been in this community, serving the community, being a part of the community. I take it that it was a no-brainer to participate in the MLK March.
I used to be one of the ones marching all the time, and then I would come up and say, oh, I'm going to go try this food, I'm going to go try this food. But now I'm one of those. It's like, come on and get some. You know what I'm saying?
Last year, unfortunately, it was canceled. So if you could walk me through how that experience of disappointment was for you as a vendor and your fellow vendors.
Well, wow. It was nerve-wracking. I was disappointed, of course, like a lot of people, but then you had to think about safety first.
Right,
okay.
right,
I was like, what am I gonna do with all this gumbo? Because I had prepared a whole lot of gumbo. But my phone started blowing up, and people started, can I come get some gumbo?
They knew where to go.
They knew to come right to my house in Shirts, and they were coming to get their gumbo.
How have you prepared for Monday? Like, have you been going through your typical preps and stuff? If you could walk us through that.
Yes, I have held off a little bit, but I've started. I have time because I've done it before. I'm excited. I'm gonna get the last of what I need to do this weekend. I think it's gonna be okay.
Yeah?
I think it's gonna be okay. I know it's gonna be cold. I don't like cold weather either. I'm a summer baby. I'm born in July. But come on, it is the MLK March. You know, and San Antonio's known for having one of the largest ones. And it's a special day. You know, it took a long time for us to get that holiday. You know, so it's such an amazing experience. It is. You have to think about, you know, what MLK stood for, you know, what he fought for. And it's just so important to be there, to be a part of that. It's a nice day. It's gonna be cold, but it's a nice day.
As she mentioned, if you are cold out here, you come on down to the end. It got a warm bowl of gumbo waiting on you. So it's her and many others that are going to be there. And again, right now they're still getting set up, getting prepared for the big day to start up.
Absolutely. So we just heard a beautiful rendition of the national anthem out here. We got the stage behind us. They are getting things ready to go here. And again, we are starting things off again in about an hour and a half to 2 hours or so when we officially get the march going. So expecting a lot more people here in the area. I do see St. Philip's College over there across the street from us. They of course are historically been here on the east side of town. So St. Philip College doing some big things out here. But yeah, it is already, you can kind of feel the energy going a little bit.
100%. The spirit is great out here. And one thing that is for sure, again, it's all about history. Reminders, you know, kind of like testaments of what today is looking like because of what things happened in the past. So again, we're going to keep staying with that MLK coverage all morning long throughout GMSA. I know Steph, we are going to march. You know, it's going to be a really powerful day anyway. So yeah, we want you guys to stick around with us.
Yeah, we're about to take a short break. Coming up, we're going to talk about some kids that are getting involved with MLK. It's one of Devin's stories that he recently did. You're watching us on Gmsa Plus on the KSAT Plus app, coming to you live from the MLK March out here at the MLK Academy. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Gmsa Plus again, coming to you live from MLK Academy on the city's east side as we get set for the MLK Day March that's going to take over this area and really bring a lot of folks coming together here, a lot of different organizations, a lot of different people, students from all over the city.
So we've told you guys about the history, we told you about the vendors. Now let's talk about our youth, okay? So imagine making a difference at the age of 11 or even younger, and that was the case because as a part of Dream Week, the museum honored 15 kids who are improving the lives of people around them with medals and a ceremony.
Yeah, very interesting story here. Our Devin Karp sat down with some of them to hear what they have to say. And again, you're never too young to do some good for someone else. Check out this story.
I was really surprised when my mom just came in saying, "Shania, you're a dream leader." I'm like, what?
For the last 10 years, leaders with Dream Week and the Museum have come together to honor kids who are making a difference in their community. They're called Dream Leaders.
I got a little emotional when the color guard was performing because I was like, this is what children need. They need this platform to learn, grow, and thrive. And I was just so happy that these kids are finally getting recognized for their amazing work.
15 kids, each 11 years old or even younger, are welcomed in for a ceremony at the Museum, honoring their accomplishments for work in the city, in sportsmanship, education, the arts, and justice. Maya, a former Dream Leader herself, says it builds these young students up and helps grow their confidence.
They're going to continue doing great work, not just for the recognition by the Dream Leaders Association, but by their families and by their peers.
Just making them feel happy, because that's my #1 reason.
Like 10-year-old Shania, who wants to create a nonprofit to help people experiencing homelessness all over the globe.
It's not like every day you get to have a roof on your head and good food to eat. So I'm just really thankful that I have.
Michael loves reading almost as much as he loves collecting cans of food at his school to give to the San Antonio Food Bank. His main reason for volunteering:
my parents, and I know my granny who's in heaven right now who would be wanting me to do this for her. Right.
Everything today shows these kids have a bright future ahead of them, and they want to let everyone know, no matter who you are, it's never too late to be a dream leader yourself.
Believe in yourself, because you're not too old or young to do anything if you keep dreaming.
Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
Talk about inspiring, man. I tell you, like, everybody, you have to be inspired by watching that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So again, younger generations, older generations coming together for this huge event across the east side and the city of San Antonio in general. Man, they got I see the moving, Jeff.
You got me over here, like, anytime. I told you I cannot not move if I hear the thing. You know, speaking of inspiring, they have been beyond inspiring with the words of wisdom that they've been preaching, what they've been singing. You know, everything pointed to why today exists and how it exists and how it's celebrated and being honored. So we're going to do more throughout this morning.
Yes, we are.
You guys stick around with us. Obviously, there's so much more. Again, when the parade is starting here, and they're going where again, RJ?
So it's going to go to Pittman Sullivan Park. So we start at MLK Academy, and we actually have, I see some officials putting up some cones here, so do expect some closures around the area here as well. But there are a lot more folks that are making their way out here now. Again, we're going to have hundreds of thousands of people expected out here. Jap, Stephanie's coming, so she's going to be hanging out with you at the top of 9 o'clock. But we're going to get you to a break, and then I think Patty's going to also update us on some other headlines.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So you guys stick around with us. I'll see you guys back here again on GMSA at 9.
Hey there, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us on GMSA Plus on the KSAT Plus app. We want to get you caught up on the other news of the day. The big day today, nearly 8,000 National Guard troops from 40 states across the U.S. are protecting the event, and the Secret Service tell ABC News that there is no active threat to the inauguration ceremony. That is happening later this morning. Remember, some of those also protecting the president are the 61 San Antonio police officers. About 600 invited guests are expected to attend. That includes big tech CEOs like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg. Musical artists Carrie Underwood and Lee Greenwood are also expected to perform. Trump also plans to sign nearly 100 executive orders on his very first day, targeting immigration, energy, and federal operations.
We have to set our country on the proper course. By the time the sun sets tomorrow evening, the invasion of our borders will have come to a halt, and all the illegal border trespassers will in some form or another be on their way back home.
And he aims to reverse many Biden administration policies, including immigration directives and diversity initiatives. Trump is expected to declare a national emergency at the border to fund his immigration agenda and designate drug cartels as terrorist organizations. According to the Wall Street Journal, Trump's advisors are now planning immigration raids in several major cities during the first few days of his new administration. And one of those targeted cities is, of course, San Antonio, known as a sanctuary city. Other cities include Chicago, Boston, Los Angeles, Denver, and of course, New York. And here in KSAT, we are doing a stream and a broadcast scheduled for today's inaugurations events on KSAT Plus and KSAT.com. You can watch GMSA and GMSA Plus all the way to the start of inauguration. On air, Good Morning America takes over after GMSA, leading up to ABC's coverage starting at 9:30 a.m. And the future of TikTok is uncertain this morning, even after the intervention from President-elect Trump. The social media app was able to restore its service in the U.S. not even 24 hours after going dark over the weekend. The app credited the incoming president after Trump promised to delay enforcement of the ban by signing an executive order when he takes office later today. But Trump's options to save the app are very limited still. The law requires TikTok's Chinese parent company to sell its stake in the app's U.S. platform due to national security and concerns. Again, thank you so much for joining us on GMSA Plus. We have a lot of things that are happening today. The weather, of course, the first major thing that everybody is paying attention to. We have the MLK March, which you can watch right here. Our staff is going to be out there live streaming this event for you right here on the KSAT Plus streaming app and on KSAT.com. And of course, the inauguration, big event happening that starts at 11, but coverage starts early on the regular KSAT TV channel. And thank you so much again for joining us this morning. You can watch us starting at 9 a.m. We'll be right back.